Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. This week, AngloGold Ashanti is hoping to save 2,000 jobs in South Africa. Meanwhile, Harmony Gold boosts its cash flow with Moab Khotsong and also has a dripping roast with Wafi-Golpu. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
AngloGold Ashanti is hoping that the sale of going non-core assets will be enough to stave off job losses.
You know, the new Minister of Mineral Resources, Gwedi Mantashe, he hates the numbers 189. Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act is in the dog box as far as he's concerned. He doesn't want to hear about it. He prefers Section 52 of the MPRDA. Now I understand he might be getting rid of the MPRDA. But the thing is, he doesn't want job losses. So, you know, they're talking as politicians. Election coming up, they want you to hold on to those people or do something. Yep. So he's been proposing that you look at solutions that are commercial through Section 152 of the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Act, which means you can bring people in and see whether someone else can buy that asset, but take the jobs with that. But what is interesting about AngloGold Ashanti is their footprint is shrunk to such an extent in South Africa that they need to now match their numbers to that small footprint. Now, if you throw your mind back to Anglo-American, you know, that is where AngloGold Ashanti came out of. And when I used to go and do interviews there, you know, their gold division, used to go into their gold division because it was a diversified major. And that the footprint of that gold division was huge. And within that footprint were hospitals, medical services, clinics, rail structures, infrastructure for transport, you know, massive infrastructure that they had. Of course, that became in 1999 AngloGold Ashanti. It was listed with a flurry of trumpets on the New York Stock Exchange. They even had primary listing in Joburg, which was good, but they took an African lion off to New York, and they looked outward to a great extent. But for a long time, the South African base was still huge, you know, and a lot of the investors used to complain about that and say, you know, you need to spread geographically. So, of course, they've done so. They've gone into continental Africa, which gives them 44% of their portfolio at the moment. They've gone into Australia, where they're growing in the Americas. They're doing well. The only place they're not doing well is right here. And that's 13% of their portfolio, but it was only 10% of their production in the last reporting period. So they're saying, you know, like, we've got 2,000 too many people, but we feel that we can do commercial deals involving our hospitals and involving our clinics and medical services and transport services. And I'm not clear as to what they mean, but they are not also spelling it out, but they're saying they've got this big discussion underway under Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act, and they're using that to try and really reduce the number of people retrenched. So hopefully they'll come out of that with some good solutions, commercial or otherwise. I think they're also going to speak to municipalities about their hospitals, because it'll be terrible if these things have to be demolished. It'll be better if someone takes them over, and I presume takes people with them. Yeah. But they're not spelling it out that clearly at the moment.
Now, on Harmony Gold's side, Moab Khotsong is proving to be very fruitful for them.
You know, Harmony Gold, they have now taken over that Moab Khotsong. You know, they started off as a bottom feeder, which meant they would take the dregs that nobody wanted. And often those assets had very low grades. But their philosophy was that we'll cut our costs to the bone. We won't have these elaborate head offices like they used to have in those days. And we will forget about looking at all management and bowing and scraping. And the people we'll bow to are the mine workers underground. They are going to be our heroes, who actually lift us in a way that even though we've got poor assets, we'll get good results. And you can see that they often rocketed during, you know, gold price changes and things like that, because everyone knew their costs were so low. Now they're moving into quality territory there. And, you know, I think it must even boggle their brain to to here 10 grams per tonne, because they used to halve that. Although at Bambanani in the Free State they've got that sort of level, but Bambanani hasn't got any of the life and the stature of this Moab Khotsong. So they're delighted to have this. I mean, they must have mentioned the word Moab Khotsong 10 to 20 times at the last presentation of results, because so much is happening to them. They're getting a better grade. They doubled their cash flow in this short period, free cash flow. They're saying, imagine if we put this in for a year now, how it's going to look so good at the end. So one person's discard is another person's great acquisition, and that's just what has happened now. They really love this asset, and they're going to do a lot with it, because coming with it is also a lot of potential that hasn't been developed, like Zyplots. You know, they started looking at that. That could be a totally new mine, and it's a high-grade one. They've got possibilities to mine a lot of pillars in various areas. So they are looking to a situation where they know they've got to get more ounces between the years 2023 and 2024, because that's where they've got a big dip in their production. But they say, look, we've always had those dips, because that's the sort of operation we ran. We always said, oh, we've got 3 or 4 or 5 years ahead, and then we quickly had to fill those gaps. So we're used to doing that, and they are preparing to look at all their local assets now, that including the Zyplots and even Target North and all the others, and say, look, we can probably fill this gap quite easily through organic growth, with a little bit of help also from Hidden Valley and Papua New Guinea.
And lastly, Wafi-Golpu is a dripping roast for Harmony.
You know, it really is a very interesting project, this. I mean, I know that many of the analysts have had their backs up, against AngloGold. Some of them have sort of stood up, and particularly if they are also involved with the investment side of their companies. There was, I remember the guy stood up and said, "You just leave that alone. You've got enough problems. You don't go into something that is so much bigger than your market cap. This is too big for you. Okay, you've got a partner, but it's still too big for you." But as time has gone on, you can see that they're really honing this project, and they're reaching a point where it is coming down in expenditure possibility and probability. They're redoing the feasibility study, massaging everything, looking at it, and when you actually examine it very carefully, you see that it's a copper gold asset. So they're talking about the copper side of it being so large that, at today's prices, which even aren't the best copper prices, you would, if you mine the copper and the gold together, but you're a gold mining company, AngloGold, but you're doing the copper and the gold, you get that gold free, gratis, and for nothing, because the copper pays for everything plus. So you've got like a negative cost in your gold operation, which sounds very, very sweet. And they're saying that you can compare it to Mogalakwena, which is the Platinum Group Metals mine in Limpopo, belonging to Anglo American Platinum, where they have also such a contribution from their byproducts. The credits from those, I remember when I visited there, the first guy said to me, "No, we get all the platinum for nothing." And I see now they're moving to a point where they're striving to go back to zero cost for platinum, which is a wonderful position to be in when the platinum price is so low. So they could really, I think, do well with this project. It's 50% AngloGold, 50% Newcrest of Australia, but they're working it in such a way that it can be a long-term, low-cost asset for them. And I think that'll be great for the AngloGold Group.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.